Sometimes when you are routing your PCB, you may want to have some areas, for example under BGA, where you would like to use different rules than they are used on the rest of the board. For example, for some specific footprints, you would like to use a little bit different minimum clearance. This is an example. This is a board what I routed a couple of years ago, and there was this special BGA, and there was no other way to fan out this BGA, just only draw between two paths. And these paths, they were very, very close to each other, and I had to use a little bit smaller minimum clearance under this U800 than it is used in whole board. How to set it up? We don't have this kind of special footprint on baseboard or on the module. As an example, I'm going to use this footprint just to show you how you can set it up. First, what we need to check is what minimum clearance we need to set up. I try to route minimum track. Press tab, I will set minimum track is 0.15. So I set 0.15 and I try to route between these paths. It's not possible. Now I check what is the gap between these two paths. I measure it and it's 0.35. So what minimum clearance we need to set to be able to go between these paths? This is 0.15, this is 0.35, so we need 0.1 minimum clearance. And if we have a look what is the default rule, the default rule is 0.15. So in this area under this footprint we need to use 0.1. How to set it up? Very simple. I double check what footprint is this special footprint when I need to route between paths. So double click and it is called DCT_8. I go to the rules and I create a new rule. I will call it U8 and I copy and paste there these rules because it's faster. You understand what I did, do you? On layer 1, that's this red layer, and under the components with footprint DCT_8, use minimum clearance, not 0.15, but use instead 0.1. Press OK. There is actually more options how you can specify this special area. You can use rooms, or you can create some component classes, but this is the simplest way to do it, and it works in most of the cases. Now when I try to route this signal, you can see I'm able to go between the paths. And here, I'll show you here, this is the minimum gap here. We are going to check it. Measure the minimum gap here, which is 0.1 millimeter, and minimum gap here, that's the default gap, 0.15 millimeter. Okay, so in this area under this chip we specified to have the minimum gap 0.1. You know, generally I don't route between the paths. This is just an example, but in your PCB you really may have situation like this. For example, if you cannot use micro vias, you have to use through hole vias only, then you really have to go between these two paths, and then you may need to specify these special rules.